month, and especially Think Pink Week 2021, October 18th through the 22nd. Be listening for conversations each day that week, focusing on research, support, encouragement, and resources throughout our communities. We will have a drive-through event Friday, October 22nd from 3 to 5 at the WKDZ WHVO Studios, where you can get a vaccine, buy some cupcakes, get a goodie bag, and pick up a Pink Out 2021 shirt. All donations are welcome, and all donations and proceeds will benefit the Pink Ribbon Network. We encourage you to think pink this month.
Big Deal.
Have you been to Big Deal Store yet? Go to WPKYOnline.com and click on Loyal Listener Big Deals. The other day, I redeemed a gift certificate on my smartphone. It was so easy. Thanks to Loyal Listener Big Deals, I found new places to eat, have fun, take the family out, and get my car fixed. With Loyal Listener Big Deals, you can save money and try new businesses. Go to WPKYOnline.com. But you better hurry. You never know how long each deal will last.
With YourSportsEdge.com, you get more coverage of your favorite teams, athletes, and sports.
Lets me know the student as a whole person.
With no page limits or subscription fees ever.
It needs exposure for the local high school athlete.
A new look and a new feel, no matter where you are.
Even if I'm out of town, I have it on my phone.
It's always available right at your fingertips.
Round-the-clock coverage of local athletes.
High school sports coverage the way it's supposed to be.
I love what they did with the website.
Download the free app now. YourSportsEdge.com.
Here's something you should know.
For all your holiday needs, get your orders in now with Tiger Sawdust and Sparks. Now's the time to get your custom cutouts and designs from Caldwell County High School's Ag Department. Monograms, signs, crafts, and more designed by wood or metal and cut with custom sizes available. Holiday theme items are ready to go, affordable and unique. Call Wes York or Megan Woods for questions. 270-365-8015 or 365-8010. Tiger Sawdust and Sparks.
1580 103.3 WPKY. We care about our community. It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYOnline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
It's a big sports week in Caldwell County. The Tigers soccer team playing tonight for the second region championship. Tigers and the Henderson County Colonels at 6 o'clock over at the Stadium of Champions in Hopkinsville. Coming up Friday, a big football showdown. The Tiger football team at Murray. A home playoff game probably on the line there as Tigers meet at historic Ty Holland Stadium. Kickoff time Friday, 7 o'clock. And, of course, we'll have Friday's game for you right here on WPKY. Welcome to the Sideline Report. We are on the air from 1035 West Main Street in Princeton this morning. This is Todd Griffin of WPKY Radio and your SportsEdge.com. And joining us on the show this morning is Ed Marlowe of the Edge Media Group. And, Ed, it's been a weird morning so far. I hear there are cows on I-24.
Yeah, the cows are getting out. Actually, I think it's the way that my family would describe that. Your cows are out. Anytime your fly was undone.
Oh, I got you.
I was always told your cows are getting out, which, I mean, is funny. It's like a barn door. But, yes, the cows are out, according to district spokesperson Keith Todd of the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. It sounds like the cows are loose between the 55 and 65-mile marker of I-24. So that's been a real hot spot of travel lately. I'm actually live on my way to work between Murray and Cadiz, but definitely that was the first thing I read this morning. I woke up, had a cup of coffee, and there cows are on I-24. I wish I could say I was surprised, Todd, but I'm not. So here we are. So hope everybody's safe. There are some detours out there right now to rip around all of that 10-mile stretch, and hope everybody gets to work on time.
Well, that feels like it's one of the signs of the apocalypse, cows on I-24.
Yeah, it really does, actually. As long as they're not mad cows, then maybe it's not the apocalypse. But like I said, that's just been such a hotbed of traffic over the last really 7 months. And I feel like I've been at WKDZ and the News Edge for about 4 months now. And I think I've reported on I-24 incidents either personally or secondhand through one of our other reporters 5 or 6 times. And so I think once they finally get that situation resolved and that construction finished, everybody's going to be a lot better off. But in the meantime, that's just been a real hotbed of trouble for the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet just over the last 6 months.
Well, we do appreciate you coming on the show this morning, and if I didn't say so earlier, good morning. Thanks for being on. We will talk a lot of sports today. I do want to tell everybody that Eli Pepper, the new men's basketball head coach at West Kentucky Community and Technical College, was scheduled to be with us this morning, but he can't be on the show this morning, so we will either have him on next week or in a couple of weeks, because we do want to get Eli on and talk to him about his new basketball coaching job. But we've got lots of sports to talk about with Ed Marlowe of the Edge Media Group as we continue here on the Sideline Report. Stay with us at 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Caldwell County is a special place in western Kentucky, featuring beautiful tracts of land. Even though the real estate market is always in a constant state of change, Bollinger Real Estate and Auction understands this and is ready to work for you.
Hi, my name is Ben Bollinger with Bollinger Real Estate and Auction. Whether it's a property valuation or time to sell, Bollinger's team is dedicated to work for you. Real estate solutions with a passion for people.
Rader Auction Company is owned and operated by Delbert Rader. Delbert has been in the agricultural field for over 40 years and is well known for his knowledge of used equipment. Rader Auction holds 4 consignment auctions a year, and they buy and sell equipment on a daily basis. If you're looking for a piece of equipment, they'll do their best to locate it, and financing is available. Contact Delbert Rader at 270-881-2610 or Amy Ezel at 270-604-2880 for all your used equipment needs. Rader Auction Company, Skyline Drive.
The folks at Southern States Petroleum Hopkinsville want to say thank you to all the farmers for the food they help put on the table each and every day.
Art is something that brings culture to us all. I'm pleased to announce the Farrell's Fine Art Auction, a chance for you to bid on 2 works of art, a professionally framed Farrell's restaurant print, and a $125 certificate good at any Farrell's location.
Thanks to Staten's Art and Framing for the professionally framed Farrell's prints. There'll be 2 auctions each weekday during the week of October 25th. Each auction is timed, so don't delay. To place your bid, go to WPKYonline.com and click on Big Deals.
We are back on the Sideline Report here at 1580 103.3 WPKY. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Ed Marlowe of the Edge Media Group is with us on his way to work this morning, and we appreciate him talking sports with us. And Ed, Caldwell County is becoming a soccer community. The Tigers are in the regional championship match tonight.
You love to see it. Did I read correctly, Todd? Is that the first time in school history that they're in the regional championship?
Yes, that's correct. Before this year, they had 2 wins ever at the regional soccer tournament. Now they have 2 wins at the regional soccer tournament this week.
I'm curious about your thoughts on the RPI situation. Let's say Caldwell County boys soccer does win tonight against Henderson, and that's, always a possibility. Yeah, the postseason is a crazy, crazy beast. In any sport, at any level, at any time. But I was curious, what's Caldwell's RPI situation, and how does that, roll into the postseason should you win tonight? What are they looking at following that?
Well, the Tigers are 6th in the second region in the RPI, and I think there are 11 boys soccer playing teams in the second region. So I really haven't looked much further than Henderson County. I think Henderson County and Madisonville North Hopkins were 1-2 all year in that, and most people would have told you last night that Henderson-Madisonville game was the de facto championship game, but we'll see if Caldwell County has something to say about that tonight. But, again, a big deal for the Tigers just to get to that championship game. Tanner Reed trying to kind of build that program up, and they've had a pretty good year, although their record doesn't show it because, for one thing, there's 3 COVID forfeits on there that kind of detracts a little bit, and I'm not sure I'm wild about having the COVID forfeits on your season record. But
right.
You could kind of see this team coming a little bit. They were building and building, and you thought, if they peak at the right time and get a good draw, they could do some damage. And, well, here they are in the championship.
It's almost like you called it there,
yeah.
Todd. But you're not wrong. The COVID forfeiture, and not to take away from soccer, but just to add to the kind of the overarching thought process there, I don't want to specifically speak for the KHSAA, but when you look at a scenario in which you have quarantines and access to a vaccine, I think the KHSAA was left with little other option. And I could be wrong there. Maybe there are better scenarios. But I think when they came into school realizing that, this district was going to go to school, this district was going to go to school, other districts were going to make mask mandates or not make mask mandates, instead of having to govern specific locations within the state of Kentucky, because you have access to any school. If Caldwell wanted to go play Pikeville in Pikeville, they could. It doesn't mean they would or if it was even reasonable, but they could do that. And so in order to come up with one COVID policy, they had to come up with something that was overarching, that answered all questions. So this was it. Now, I'm sure, like I said, there maybe are some better solutions and better scenarios. But when you take a look at what was at stake and trying to get calendars played in a full and timely manner, and that they weren't really going to be extending postseason play, kind of how they did last year, where they just kind of made things a little more fluid to try and get games in as much as possible, I think this was the only scenario they could come up with. But I could be wrong. Maybe there is a better solution out there.
Well, last season, the COVID forfeits did not count against you. And I think there was some sentiment that maybe a school or two or a team or two took advantage of that. It's like, well, we've got a really tough game coming up. It's going to hurt our RPI if we play that game. Hey, we've got COVID. We can't play. So I think that's part of the issue, too.
And I think that's an unfair situation considering the severity and the magnitude of COVID. I know that, it hasn't impacted every family, but it's impacted a lot of families, and to lean on that type of crutch, I think I'm not going to call anybody out, Todd, but I think you're exactly right. I think that was certainly pervasive in the United States and in Kentucky. If you came up upon a situation that was a little bit of adversity, maybe you had one or two key players hurt. Oh, okay. Well, all of a sudden we've got a COVID case. We've got a quarantine. So, that's just part of it. It's not the first time it's happened in American sports history, and it's not the last time it's going to happen in American sports history. But again, I think you bring up a key point. The KHSAA had to come up with a way to clarify all rules, all levels of what COVID means to each team. And again, access to protocols, be it masking, vaccinations, NTI days, things like that. I just don't think they were going to have a wild, wild west of scheduling like we had last year. I mean, Todd, you saw it as well as anybody last season. If somebody needed a game, somebody was a phone call away. And I think it just let everybody know how quickly the schedules and tables could turn if all of a sudden you got a better, sweeter deal somewhere else. Oh, well, we're gonna go play this game. We're gonna go play this game. That happened at every level, from travel ball all the way up to the NFL and college football. Like, it was a unique situation and a unique time, and hopefully, fortunately, we may be headed out of that. So.
Well, thankfully, it's been a whole lot more normal as far as getting games played this year. Yes, we've still seen some forfeits. It's just when you look at the Tigers soccer team specifically, you're looking at a team that would be 9-9-2 going into the championship, which, 500 record, that's not a bad season. Instead, they're 9-12-2, and it's a team that legitimately had problems this year, with people being out because of quarantines or whatever. There were games where they just simply didn't have enough people to play, so when they couldn't play, it was legitimate. So just unfortunate from a record standpoint. In the greater scheme of things, does it really matter? Probably not, but 9-9-2 sounds a lot better than 9-12-2.
Todd, I want to ask you this quick question.
Okay. Well, I think we've lost Ed, so we're going to try to get him back here in just a minute. He was on his way to work, so maybe just lost the connection on the road there. But Ed Marlowe is our guest this morning here on the Sideline Report on WPKY. And as a matter of fact, we were talking about the Tigers soccer team playing in the regional championship game tonight against Henderson County, 6 o'clock over at the Stadium of Champions. Tigers advancing with a 1-0 win over University Heights Academy last night. That went down to a shootout. The Tigers won in PKs 5-4. and came down to the final kick. Actually, Corbin Nichols, Caldwell's keeper, made a nice save on the 5th attempt by UHA, and then Blake Vivrette hammered home the game winner as the Tigers took the penalty kick tiebreaker and defeated University Heights Academy 1-0 in semifinal action. As a matter of fact, we caught up with the Tiger keeper, Corbin Nichols, after last night's game over in Hopkinsville. First of all, just talk about the win.
It's fun to finally go to a regional finals. We worked so hard this year to do it, and felt like we outworked them every minute of the game, and we deserve it.
How heart-stopping was the penalty kicks?
Well, it was hard, and as you know, I only saved one of them. That's all I needed to do, and everyone else did their part by making their PKs and helped us out big time.
Yeah, nobody could score for 90 minutes, then everybody starts making PKs.
Yeah, one of the second hardest things to do is save a PK, and I was happy we were able to make it to that point and, make it to the finals.
What are you thinking back there when you're just trying to get a stop here or there?
Just got to trust myself, and as soon as I feel like I need to go a certain way, I need to go.
Kind of been an up and down season for you guys and battled some COVID situations and some injuries, but how are you guys playing right now?
I'm loving the way we're playing. I'm ready for tomorrow night, and we're ready for it too.
What was kind of the game plan coming over here against UHA?
Play to be us, to play as a team and just work from the back and work our way up and score some goals.
What's going to be the game plan now for the championship?
Same thing. Be a team, pass the ball, move, work together.
That is Corbin Nichols, Caldwell County keeper from last night's game. The Tigers again beating University Heights Academy 1-0 in a penalty kick shootout. Teams played through 90 minutes without scoring and then had to go to PKs to finish that one off. We also talked with Tiger head coach Tanner Reed following the big win last night. This one has to feel pretty good.
It does. We felt that we deserved the game in the regular match allotted time, and we felt like we created a couple of really great chances in overtime, just weren't lucky enough to pull them off. So winning it on penalties, it's sour a little bit, but whenever you're the winning team, it's got a little sweetness to it.
You're in the championship match, and I think when you saw the draw, you liked your chances, but so did everybody else in your part of the bracket.
That's right. Everybody has to like their chances. It's an elimination game. Anything can happen, especially in these COVID times and injury times. It takes one thing to throw off a team and get you out of rhythm, and we were lucky that we came out and played our game for, 2 nights in a row and pulled it out.
How much did it help you guys, having already seen them once, and you played them real tight in the All-A?
I mean, we got a good look at them. We had a feeling what they were going to come at us with. Obviously, their right winger had an incredible evening last night, scoring 4 goals, so we were prepared on marking him and a couple of their key players. We felt that we shut them down pretty well tonight. We just needed to back our own chances.
Felt like you guys were getting better all season. Couldn't always tell it by the record, and, you had some COVID situations you had to battle through, but right now it looks like you guys are playing pretty well.
That's right. That's something, that Michael Boone, the head coach of the Lady Marshals in Marshall County, always said, you want to peak at the right time. You want to be peaking towards the tournament. You want to play well always, but it's all about peaking and playing your best soccer at the end of the year.
How do you keep from getting frustrated, though, in a game like that where you had some chances to score, couldn't, they had some chances to score, couldn't, and you just keep playing?
You got to... It's kind of weird to throw other sport analogies in there, but you got to have that quarterback mentality whenever you're a striker. You make a bad pass or you make a bad shot, you just got to forget about it and move on to the next one, because the next one could go into the back of the net.
The guys have talked about making history, and they've kind of done that now. First Caldwell team to get to the championship.
That's something I've been preaching to them for the last couple of days. I actually didn't know that until this afternoon, but I've been preaching to them for the last couple of days. You either have the choice to make history or be a part of someone else's, and we want to create our own history.
Going to be a big challenge in the championship, whether it's Henderson or Madisonville.
Yes, it is, and I want to play either team. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to be a part of the championship game. We played one of our best games in the season against Henderson early in the year, but I'm sure they're a different team. We're a different team, so a rematch there would be great. And then to see Madisonville again and avenge, the district championship loss would be wonderful as well. To shout out Donald Walker, my head coach from Marshall County for many years that coached me, a very prestigious coach. He said one of the hardest things to do is to beat a team 3 times. So if Madisonville makes it, we're going to give them a game.
Such a huge celebration tonight for you guys, though. How do you kind of get everybody refocused again for that championship?
Right now, that euphoria is setting in. They don't realize how bad their legs are hurting or anything like that. It's going to be a whole new animal tomorrow, but at the same time, your opponent's dealing with the same thing, and they have the unfortunate pleasure of playing an even later game than we do. So it sets up in our favor. We just got to show up and do the job.
That is Tiger head coach Tanner Reed following the Tigers' big win over University Heights Academy last night over in the semifinals of the second region soccer tournament. Again, Caldwell County playing Henderson County at 6 o'clock tonight in the championship over at the Stadium of Champions. And I believe we had Ed back with us. And Ed, another big game for the Tiger soccer team, kind of uncharted territory for the Tigers tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Todd. The question that I was actually asking you when I think the cell phone waves cut me off is you played a couple of interviews that kind of answered it, but I wanted to go ahead and ask it again, Todd. How much of Marshall County history does Tanner Reed bring with him in this program? Obviously, he comes from a pretty solid soccer pedigree. How much do you think that has infused into the Caldwell County boys soccer program?
I think it's made a big difference. When he took over the program, there weren't many upperclassmen. He kind of had to work with a lot of young kids, and, they kind of took some lumps his first year or two, but you could see the progress being made. And then, only a couple of seniors this year, but they went into the season with high hopes. And like I said, it kind of went back and forth during the season because they couldn't get everybody healthy, couldn't get everybody there. But finally, toward the end of the year, they started getting everybody in the lineup together, and it may have actually helped. Tanner's actually said that, having people out could have helped because that really enabled the team to kind of build some depth behind those starters.
Yeah, and that's always critical when it comes to championship time. I have been so busy with my own job, I've not been able to see a lot of live soccer this year, but I've kept up with a lot of scores and a lot of stats. And I don't know, do you get much better than Blake Vibrett in the second region? I would have to think that he's an all-region caliber player. Am I wrong there?
No, he's definitely an all-region kind of player, and the Tigers actually a little fortunate last night in the PKs because, if you look at it, it says they made all 5, but Blake actually shot his first shot over the crossbar last night. Officials called the keeper for coming off the line too quickly, so he got a reprieve and got a second chance, and did not miss on the second chance, and it was celebration time on the Tiger sideline.
That happened in the first region championship, actually, between Marshall County and McCracken. Part of the reason I was asking you about RPI is that was an RPI situation. Marshall is 6th in the RPI, had beaten McCracken County already in the regular season, lost in PKs. McCracken County won 3-2, and there was in shootout, and there was kind of a line situation there as well. So there's a lot of jitters in the PK. That's what makes the PK so exciting. I know some fans aren't particularly in favor of it because you want to get out there and play the full game. But when you go through a couple of overtimes and nobody scores the game, the golden goal, you got to find a way to solve it. And I don't know if there's anything more exciting than an actual shootout, maybe like a hockey shootout, but it's the same scenario. So, yeah, soccer shootout is it's heart-stopping, and, it can be the difference, obviously, between a huge upset and a clinching victory. So it's really fun to watch that.
Well, a tough way for University Heights Academy to lose that game last night, but talking with the officials afterward, they kind of said that that had happened previously in the shootout. However, Caldwell made those goals, so there was no need to call it. It wasn't until Caldwell missed that they actually had to make that call.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a tough call to make. I mean, as a ref, you don't want to make that call. But in a key situation, when you've got a championship on the line, your officiating has to be top-notch, and you've got to do everything the right way. So I agree with you there, Todd. It's tough to make that call, but you've got to make that call if it's there right in front of you.
We are talking with Ed Marlowe this morning from the Edge Media Group. Need to get to a timeout here on the Sideline Report, but we'll continue with our discussion right after this here at 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Cozy Living Interiors and Boutique.
From the Weather Edge Weather Center, partly sunny skies today with a high near 84. Tonight, 30% chance of showers after midnight. Overnight low 66. 90% chance of rain and thunderstorms on Friday with a high 79 degrees. Continuing chance through Friday night. Saturday, sunshine with a high near 64. Once again today, partly sunny skies with a high 84 degrees.
Trice Hughes has been serving Western Kentucky for over 60 years. Their experienced sales force, ASE certified techs, and all the friendly folks folks at Trice Hughes have worked to become your family's exclusive automotive dealer. The home team that's kept our families safe on the road for generations. From work to play and everything in between, your home team has what you need. Stop by and drive the difference. Our home team, Trice Hughes, Highway 91 North in Princeton.
Things just keep getting better at Big John's Barbecue. Have you checked out their new look? You'll like it. And something else new, they're offering a Saturday morning breakfast buffet, 5:30 to 10:30 a.m. every Saturday. This is something new, so be patient. Be nice. They're working hard to give you more at Big John's Barbecue. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner every Monday through Saturday. Go enjoy a great meal and be sure to follow on Facebook for updates.
Talking sports this morning with Ed Marlowe of the Edge Media Group. We've talked soccer. We're going to talk some football. Do want to remind you that our C3 lineman of the game, the power lineman from the win over Fort Campbell last Friday night, was Jordan Ladd. So congratulations to him. The power lineman brought to you by C3 Electric, selling and servicing Generac generators, new construction, remodels, and more. With over 24 years experience, you can trust C3 Electric for quality service and installations. Again, Jordan Ladd is the C3 lineman of the game. Jordan not only seeing action on the offensive line the other night against Fort Campbell, but carrying the ball 3 times for 10 yards and a 1-yard touchdown run. So congratulations to him. And, Ed, you don't always get to see an offensive lineman carry the ball in, but that was a pretty neat experience the other night on senior night for the Tigers.
No, you absolutely love to see it. I love linemen. They don't get a lot of love. A lot of times in postseason awards and accolades, it's hard to chart. You know, I've talked about this a lot when I was working on all purchase teams and you know, all WKC and stuff like that. It's really, really tough. You know, I would imagine it's tough as a coach, too, to try and find highlights of offensive linemen. So anytime you can score a touchdown as an offensive lineman, it's a big plus on a Friday night. But I love the hog mollies. Like I said, they don't really get a lot of love. And I know they still make all WKC teams and Paducah Sun all purchase teams and things of that nature. But like I said, it's tough to chart pancakes and, you know, and solo blocks and how many times you give up a sack or don't give up a sack or protect your quarterback or open those holes. So I've got to give a lot of credit where credit's due when offensive linemen do make these, you know, these postseason teams. It's really cool to see. You know, some coaches take a lot of time to take a look at some of the film, you know, that's readily available now and do the right thing. So, but no, congratulations to him. It's always great when an offensive lineman comes away with a touchdown.
Well, it's like they always say, the only time you ever hear an offensive lineman's name mentioned is when they mess up.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Todd. Anytime they make a mistake, it's like, oh, he was supposed to block there. He was supposed to open the A gap or the B gap. No. Why don't we start talking about, you know, the amount of protection? Take a look at Graves County, for instance. Clint McKee has rushed for state tying right now. He tied for the lead, 22 touchdowns. And they've got a big game on Friday night against Owensboro. And you've got to, you know, but you take a look at, you know, how good their offensive line has been. And that's where, you know, you take a look. Clint McKee's terrific, but you got to take a look at how good their offensive line has been. So you can say that for a lot of different teams. You can say that for the Murray Tigers, who the Caldwell County Tigers have to face this Friday, how their running attack has been so good under first-year coach Darren Bowling. And that's, you know, kind of been their MO for years. But, you know, their offensive line's been really good. So you got to take a look at those kind of smaller factors for teams. And like I said, just give the O-line its due love and its due credit whenever they do the right thing.
Well, it is a big game for Caldwell County football coming up on Friday at Murray. Homecoming for Murray, so that'll always, you know, throw a little gasoline on the fire if you're a Tiger fan heading down there for that. Murray picked Caldwell for its homecoming and instead of picking Fort Campbell or somebody. But, hey, you know, that's the way it goes, I guess. Ed, I was going to ask you about Murray High. I know you've seen them a couple of times this year, and, you know, this is a classic case of where you can't compare scores because if you look at it, Murray lost to Union County, but Caldwell beat Union. However, Murray beat Christian, but Caldwell County lost to Christian County. So there you go.
Well, first of all, a lot of respect to Christian County. They put up a show, really, offensively against Murray. Murray really didn't have a solution for Jordan Miles, Prince Northington Jr. played really well. They were able to run the football kind of at ease against Murray, which is kind of uncommon. They do have a younger defense this year, Todd, and they're really trying to put those pieces together the right way moving forward. And but the one thing is they still beat Christian County because they were able to roll up a lot of rushing yards. So I know it's no mystery to tell people that Murray runs the ball so effectively and so well this year. That just seems to be kind of a year in, year out thing with Murray. As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, I tweeted that it must be a requirement at Murray High School. There's a class that you take that's just running 101, and you just everybody has to take it. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, what grade, doesn't matter. You could eventually be drafted to be a running back for the Murray Tigers, so you have to be ready at all costs. And I don't know, I got a lot of laughs, but I feel like that's the truth. I feel like you've got algebra, you've got chemistry, AP US history, and then, running the A-gap 101. And that's what Murray football does. And that's no different under Darren Bowling, who runs a really, interesting veer type of option that he ran for so long and so successfully at Union City. And I know Murray, will be prepared for Caldwell in that same regard and how tough Caldwell's been this year. But you're right. You can't play the transverse property game with any sport, much less high school football and much less right now as teams continue to search for depth and get through COVID and push through protocols and things like that. Christian County's trying to get healthy as well. After that first game against Caldwell, they haven't really been the same team, and I think Ricky Garris would be the first to tell you that. They no excuses. They're young, but, they have dealt with some depth issues just because of COVID protocol, and some certain key injuries have been untimely, which no injury is timely, but you get my point. They haven't really been the same since that first week. They've been their best at the start. So, they're trying to recapture some of that early season magic they were experiencing against Caldwell and the Tigers. But no, huge game. And one quick note I wanted to make, and Todd, you touched on it. I got to give a lot of credit to Murray because it is not common to pick up a homecoming game against a vaunted and tough opponent. I don't necessarily think so much it's a slight against Princeton as it is, hey, we love this rivalry. We love this opponent. We love this game. We know it's going to be a great atmosphere. We know its importance. And I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but a lot of times when you have a homecoming game that maybe doesn't have as much gravitas or importance, I think, I don't know. I mean, like I said, everybody wants a homecoming win. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you think about bringing your rivalries together and your alumni together and, people, that have those alma maters and they believe in their school that much, why not bring in one of the greater rivalries in football in Western Kentucky between two pairs of Tigers? The tale of two Tigers, I used to always say. So, that's my 2 cents on that. I'd love your thoughts on it.
Well, the first thing or the main thing is you have to play your homecoming game sometime. You're typically not going to do it the first or second home game of the season. That's usually too early. You start getting late in the season. You start wanting to have senior night somewhere. So a lot of times homecoming just kind of goes on the schedule where it fits. So if you want to take offense at being somebody's homecoming opponent and, if that fires you up, that's fantastic too. I understand that, but I really think sometimes it just happens where it happens.
Yeah, maybe it's being overthought. We're analyzing something where it's just like, we got to get this game in. Here's when we're going to fit it. But I do love a good atmosphere, and Todd, you're definitely going to have one at Historic Ty Holland on Friday night. Key game.
Oh, yeah, these two teams have played some interesting matchups, and typically it's that battle of wills. Murray wants to run the football and eat the clock. Caldwell wants to go fast and throw the football and get up and down the field. But the Tigers of Caldwell County aren't really playing that way this year. They've had to kind of readjust things to kind of suit their own needs, and at times have actually, run the football and tried to work the clock a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what Caldwell County does this week, because I don't know, maybe it's more advantageous this week for Caldwell to try to speed things up just a little bit more than they have so far throughout most of the 2021 season.
I think that's a great point, because I think that's how Christian County was able to get a little bit of success, ran a little bit of no huddle, switched out some personnel, put some speed on the outside, took some chances downfield. They let Jordan Miles run a little bit free in the backfield. He was able to check out of a couple of plays and rip off a couple of key runs. Miles had 170, 180 rushing yards against Murray. And I know he's a different kind of athlete, different kind of star quarterback back there. He's able to kind of scan the pocket, see what he's got, and kind of take off if he wants to. But, the one thing that Caldwell can really maybe take advantage of is a younger defense. And that's where maybe the Tigers of Princeton, we have to designate that obviously with two Tigers, but the Tigers of Princeton, maybe can take advantage of that. And another thing that I saw, though, you're going to have to be stout up front. And I know Caldwell can do that. They can be tough up front, 7-8 personnel. But the different thing about it is that Murray's going to throw 3 or 4 different guys at you. They're going to throw Rowdy Sokolowski. They're going to throw his brother, Gage Sokolowski. They're going to throw Kanoa Olive. They're going to throw Xavier Biggers. And you're not really sure who's going to get the ball where. Now, obviously, you can watch as much film as you want. I mean, be prepared for that, and that's fine. But, they run a veer triple option weird mechanism. And I say weird just because it's kind of some old school smash mouth football, but you will see the football handed off in a ton of different directions. You'll see them do an outside toss option. You'll see them do toss inside. You'll see them, fake to a fullback and Rowdy just take off. And all 4 of those guys, Todd, are extremely capable of ringing up big games out of the backfield. And they have no shame about it. They'll keep running. They'll run on 3rd and 7. They'll run on 3rd and 14. They'll run on 4th and 8. They'll, and they throw the ball a little bit, just enough to keep defenses honest. But they will run in any key situation you can possibly think of. Now, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 3rd and 3. Those are key running downs. Maybe you are running if you're anybody else, but they will run even when you don't expect them to, which I know sounds strange when you expect a team like that runs it 60, 70 times to run it. But just when you think, Todd, that things are comfortable and we've got them in a 4th and 8 situation, nah. If they're on the other side of the 50, they'll run the football, and that's something that I've seen through 8 to 12 quarters of play in Murray football.
We're talking this morning with Ed Marlowe of the Edge Media Group. Need to get to another timeout here on the show, but we'll continue here on the Sideline Report after this at 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Hancock's Neighborhood Market.
From the Weather Edge Weather Center, partly sunny skies today with a high near 84. Tonight, 30% chance of showers after midnight. Overnight low 66. 90% chance of rain and thunderstorms on Friday with a high 79 degrees. Continuing chance through Friday night. Saturday, sunshine with a high near 64. Once again today, partly sunny skies with a high 84 degrees.
Get the care that you need to stay mentally and physically well from the convenience of your home. Health First Community Health Center is doing their part to help stop the spread. They're now offering telehealth services to keep you healthy at home. Scheduling a virtual visit with your medical or behavioral health provider is easy. All you need is a smartphone, tablet, or computer and internet access. Contact their office for an appointment at 877-667-7017. That's 877-667-7017. At Health First, your health is their first concern.
Since opening its doors in 1996 in Hopkinsville, Planters Bank has made a name for itself as an energetic, forward-looking player of the financial services landscape. Contributing to their success is the flexibility afforded by being well-capitalized, locally owned, and responsibly managed. Today, 25 years later, Planters Bank has offices serving Hopkinsville, Western Kentucky, and Clarksville, Tennessee. Looking forward to the next 25 years. Planters Bank. Expect great things.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580 103.3 WPKY, Princeton, Kentucky. Ed Marlowe of the Edge Media Group with us this morning. And do want to remind you the Tigers soccer team in the regional finals tonight over at Hopkinsville. And the community is asked to turn out this afternoon around 4 o'clock at the Butler parking lot and see the team off as they head over to Hopkinsville for that big matchup tonight. A lot of people need to get out there and show the Tiger soccer team some appreciation for Getting to the regional championship match for the first time ever, Tigers and Henderson County at 6 o'clock tonight over at the Stadium of Champions in Hopkinsville. And, Ed, you know it's a big sports week. When we've talked about soccer, we've talked about football. We haven't even mentioned the Lady Tiger volleyball team, which is at Fort Campbell tonight and begins district play next Monday over at Madisonville North Hopkins. And the Lady Tiger volleyball team is the defending second region champions.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, and that's the crazy thing, that, sports is back in full force. We haven't even talked about how UK is 6-0. We haven't talked about
I was getting
how.
to that.
Well, I'm just saying, you're exactly right. It's a busy time of year. It's absolutely wonderful to see. I told somebody the other day that just because I don't write sports as frequently as I used to, it doesn't mean it just left my body to not care about it. So I'm definitely scanning all horizons and always trying to check on how other teams are doing, how things are faring, and reading other people's work. It's always been, a hobby of mine, and it's okay to kind of keep that as a hobby. So, no, absolutely. The Caldwell County Lady Tiger volleyball team has been terrific this year. Certainly, graduation hurts every team, and you got to try and build on that, and that's okay. The excitement, Todd, that comes with building programs is that you've got always someone coming next that wants to be next, and so that's the fun part about coaching. That's the fun part about building programs, and the fun part about Lady Tiger volleyball is that they're certainly still around, still back, and until further notice, are the defending champions. So anything can happen when you get into district play, and anything can happen when you get into the postseason. So those are it's going to be really exciting times for that program for sure.
Yeah, the 7th District tournament begins Monday. The Lady Tigers will take on Hopkins County Central in the lone semifinal game at 6. Championship game is Tuesday at 6 o'clock over at Madisonville. Host Madisonville North Hopkins is the number 1 seed this year, and it's been a while since the Lady Tigers were not in that spot. However, Caldwell and Madisonville split during the regular season, so if Caldwell County can get past Hopkins Central, and the Lady Tigers would be heavily favored to do so, Ed, that's going to be a heck of a match for the championship over in the district against, you got Caldwell County and Madisonville going at it, and probably 2 of the top 3 teams in the second region right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you wouldn't want it any other way, quite frankly. I'm curious, Todd, where is the regional championship for the second region this year?
The first-round games will be held at the district champions, just like last year. Then the semifinals and the championship for second region volleyball will be at Crittenden County this year.
Oh, wow. You'll be headed to Marion. That'll be exciting. So
yeah, it's a relatively short trip for Caldwell County fans. So,
yeah, absolutely. Pack the buses and get ready to go. So, no, that's a terrific. I don't know if that's a terrific matchup. I don't know if you'll find a better one between here and Fulton County, quite frankly. If Caldwell County's, Lady Tigers make it to the championship as they're expected to do, that'll be one of the better games, I would think, Todd. Like I said, between here and the river, that there won't be anything much better. I will say, McCracken County has given up another set to a first region opponent. That's not happened often. I think once or twice now. I believe they dropped a set to Marshall County, and now they're still good too. So first region, second region volleyball has just been really terrific. And you and I've talked a lot about it in the past, Todd. Outside of Louisville, and private school Louisville and Lexington and up near the Cincinnati area, I don't know. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find better volleyball somewhere else in the state. I mean, a couple other districts and regions that are pretty solid outside of Louisville and Lexington, but down here in West Kentucky, volleyball's terrific. So got Ballard Memorial, got Caldwell, got Madisonville, Henderson, McCracken. Got to give Graves and Marshall a little bit of credit and how good they've been, in the last couple, 2-3 years, and even in past history. So it's really good to see. I love to see the fact that volleyball has been so successful. CCA, CFS, have certainly come a long way and been terrific as well in the first region. So you love to see it, is how I would put it. You love to see it.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY, Princeton, Kentucky. Ed Marlowe is with us, and Ed, just a few minutes left, but do got to get to that big matchup on Saturday. 6-0 Kentucky, 6-0 Georgia. Do the Wildcats have a chance to go down between the hedges and come back with a win?
when is the last time Kentucky beat Georgia at Georgia?
I think one of Rich Brooks's teams won down there. Derek Locke was the running back, I believe, trying to get my brain to work a little bit this morning. I think they went down there and got Georgia. It might have been a home game. I really think Rich Brooks got them down there one year. So, however long that's been, it's been a while.
Yeah, I was going to Google it, but I'm not near a computer at the moment. But I believe it was 20. Was it a 24-20 win or something like that? Or,
that was the home game, I think. I think a few years before that, Kentucky got them down there. Kentucky was wearing my favorite UK combo, football uniform combo that night. The blue helmets, the white shirts, and the blue pants. So I'm not sure what they're wearing this week, but this would be a good week to bring out the blue, white, blue again.
Well, you better send Mark Stoops an email right now and let him know what the combo needs to be. But, the one thing that I will say, my father-in-law is a huge Kentucky fan, so, of course, I like to razz him. And it's not that I like or dislike UK football. I think I just like college football in general. But, when they struggled against Chattanooga and had a couple of other close victories and kind of looked like they were wobbling a little bit, I razzed him and other fans as well and said, you got to really get it together. A lot of the Katie's Rotary group, the Katie's Rotary Club, is huge UK football fans, and so I've been to a few of their meetings and razzed that group as well. And I like to have fun with it. I like to stir the pot a little bit. It's fun, and sure enough, I have caught plenty of grief since then from my father-in-law when they dismantled LSU and and all that sort of stuff, and then beat Florida, and I was just like, okay, I deserve this. That's okay. And like I said, I'm happy for UK football. I'm happy for UK football fans. I know that this feels probably like an unprecedented time because maybe it is. When's the last time UK football went 6-0 with key wins like this? What was it, 1950?
Yeah, 1950. Kentucky actually owns a national championship from 1950. I think the Sagarin ratings went back and did all those seasons, and I think Kentucky was actually the, quote unquote national champion according to them in 1950.
And see, that's the crazy thing. I do understand that these are unprecedented football times. So unprecedented, in fact, that not many people are talking about the fact. Isn't Midnight Madness?
Yeah, it's Friday.
Relatively,
I think,
yeah. It's Friday. You think 2 or 3 years ago, Todd, you would have been like, it's Friday at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and I've got my DVR set. Now everybody's like, man, when's the football game on Saturday? I'm ready to watch. So, it's just but it's cool though. It's cool to see that. It's cool to hear that from the fan base. It's cool to embrace that. And I will say college football is amazing. I mean, we're already down to just a handful of undefeated teams left, and Alabama's not one of them. So, it's really an interesting time right now. The playoff will be very, very interesting, I think. But, UK's got a couple of key injuries that I wish they didn't have for this game. I believe Oxendine's out for the year, and that's tough, especially I believe he just earned SEC Player of the Week honors. And, you've got a tough situation on your hands when Georgia, I saw a stat yesterday, Todd, that was kind of staggering. I believe Kentucky has, don't quote me on this, somewhere between 25 and 30 quarterback hurries. Georgia has 109 quarterback hurries.
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge for that UK offense.
109.
Yeah.
They have rushed quarterbacks and been successful in hurrying quarterbacks on more than 65% of dropbacks. That is a stat to me that I saw yesterday that just popped into my head, and I said, wow, that's a complete. And like I said, Kentucky to have 23 or 24 through 5 or 6 games is pretty good. You got 3 or 4 quarterback hurries. That's great per game. Georgia is averaging almost triple that per game. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Will Levis. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Wan'Dale Robinson. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that offensive line, and it's not going to stop. It's going to be so relentless throughout the game. I could see Georgia getting 2 and 3 hurries per quarter. That's how successful they've been at getting in the backfield and making offenses uncomfortable. But, that's why you play the game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the outcome of it.
Well, and Kentucky has one of the better offensive lines, not just in the SEC, but in the country. So it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure.
No, absolutely. And like I said, I love those two stats. You do. You look at your Pro Football Focus grades of UK's offensive line and some of the output that they've been generating. They have given Levis, they've given, Kvassia Smoke, they've given these guys, Rodriguez, they've given these guys time not only to throw the football, but to find lanes and run. Been really good in the screen game. I thought Wandale Robinson's screen against Florida is probably one of the better scripted plays in college football this year. It's absolutely beautiful. And Tom Leach's call on it was terrific. I say these things, I razz UK football, but I've absolutely been paying attention and watching games. And I like what I see, but, the thing about it is you're exactly right, Todd. You have an offensive line that has been Kentucky's calling card versus a defensive line, which has been Georgia's calling card. So that's naturally the focus and the matchup that I'm more anxious to see on Saturday than really who wins it. I don't have a dog in the fight. Georgia wins, great. Kentucky wins, great. Both teams are playing some great football this year. I'm really interested to see how that matchup plays out, offensive line versus defensive pressure.
Well, Ed, you're not going to believe this, but we're out of time.
How are we out of time? We haven't even mentioned the fact that the Ohio Valley Conference is shifting. We're not sure where Murray State's headed, with all the news on Belmont and Austin Peay. I mean, goodness gracious, you're going to have to invite me back another time.
Yeah, for sure. We could go another hour, but we don't have another hour this morning. But, yeah, for sure, come back, and we'll talk about all that kind of stuff. And like I said, today's show flew by, and there's lots more we could talk about, but I appreciate you taking some time on your drive to work and coming on and talking sports with us this morning.
Anytime, man. I'm sorry I dropped out there. The LBL tends to eat the waves sometimes. But I appreciate the time, Todd.
All right, thanks, Ed. Have a good day.
You too.
That is Ed Marlowe of the Edge Media Group. Again, appreciate him coming on and being on the show this morning. Don't forget, Caldwell Soccer, 6 o'clock at the Stadium of Champions in Hopkinsville. It's the second region championship match against Henderson County. On Friday, the Tiger football team is at Murray. Lady Tiger volleyball team in action at Fort Campbell tonight. As always, you can read all about all of those things over at yoursportsedge.com. That's going to wrap us up on the Sideline Report this morning. This is Todd Griffin. Thanks for being with us here at 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. A new milestone for the number of Americans filing for first-time jobless help.